Ooh, what up, no? This is Knockouts and Three Counts, and if you paid attention to the promo, you know you got to stay always ready. That's right. Tonight, we are bringing you Matt Cardona to talk about TNA's return back to Detroit, crashing weddings like the SDL and PCO wedding, and how he plans to survive PCO, maybe even a Royal Rumble appearance for Matt Cardona as well. But before we get to that, I got to tell you about the fine folks at Potter's Tree Service. If you are in the need for tree trimming, lot clearing, needing to get your grass cut, all that kind of stuff, they've got you together. As you can see from this video, anything to do with trees, they got you. Chip-in service, storm damage cleanup, walnut logging, lot clearing, all of it. Call Potter's Tree Service. Tell them that Knockouts and Three Counts sent you. And thank you for enjoying this show. And get ready for TNA Bound for Glory.
This is the Ring of Honor, a.k.a. Shane T, boy. The baddest champion you ever seen, boy.
This is Mr. Anderson.
This is good old JR Jim Ross, and you are listening.
You're listening to Knockouts and Three Counts.
Cover! We got a new world champion! That might be one of the craziest knockouts I've ever seen in my life.
Knockouts and Three Counts is the podcast meeting to the real deal, baby!
Knockouts and Three Counts starts now.
What up, though? It is another Tuesday. This is Knockouts and Three Counts. And J-Bone, we are coming in hot to start the week, huh?
Hot ain't the word, man. We're on fire, baby. Knockouts and Three Counts on a Tuesday. Let's get it going, man.
You already know. First of all, shout out to TNA for hooking this up. We're getting ready for TNA to make their return to Detroit in October for Bound for Glory. And they were kind enough to link us up with the Indy God, Matt Cardona. We talked about wedding crashing. We talked about surviving PCO. We talked about the Royal Rumble. If Chelsea Green was pissed off that he crashed the wedding. J-Bone, what were your quick takeaways from the Matt Cardona interview, and how are you feeling headed into Bound for Glory?
I mean, man, first of all, the guy ain't scared of PCO. As you'll see in the interview, he had some choice words for PCO, and from what we've seen from PCO, man, he's not pardon the pun here, he's hard to kill, right? We've seen everything happen to PCO, from being set on fire to eating battery acid. He hit him with a cinder block in the head at the wedding when he crashed the wedding. The PCO still got back up. So
it's a hell of a wedding gift.
Right. You know what I mean? I'm curious to see how he handles PCO when that comes to be, man. But like I said, he doesn't seem afraid of PCO by any means. So it'll be very interesting to see how that plays out for him.
You already know, dude. And I mean, anybody that's new to our show with us streaming on bodyslam.net, PCO is a longtime guest of the show. He's been rocking with us since he was your Ring of Honor world champion. So I got a feeling that PCO might have a rebuttal to this. But as you can see, if you follow his social medias, he's seen the clips as well. So something tells me, and I think Matt Cardona knows, that he's not going to get away with this. But hey, with that said, man, I've loved what we've seen from TNA. I am really looking forward to Bound for Glory getting back here. But I guess without any further ado, bro, I guess it's about time that we just show them the stuff, huh?
Got to be ready, man. Let's do it.
All right, always ready. Check out our chat with Matt Cardona. Ooh, what up, though? I told you guys that we had a big guest and that we always had to stay ready. And today we've got the first of those guests with TNA making their return here to Detroit for Bound for Glory. We've got Matt Cardona joining the show. Appreciate the time, my man.
Oh, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate you.
Not at all, man. Like I said, we've been following what you've been doing through the podcast game. J-Bone found the old Toy Story shirt you guys put together with everybody on it today. Man, just texted me before we were getting ready.
Look at that out.
I love it. I love it.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, man. Well, that's as good a place as any to start. Anybody that knows anything about you knows your travels and what you've done so far. And we just talked about TNA's return back to Detroit. So talk to me about how you feeling about Bound for Glory coming to Detroit. And do you got any memories of your past experiences here in Detroit?
Man, I've had a lot of good and bad memories in Detroit. I'm excited to go for Bound for Glory. One of, if not the biggest pay-per-views of the year for TNA wrestling. And now I'm back in TNA right now. I'm kind of disrupting this whole PCO SDL marriage. So I don't know where we're going to be by the time we get to Bound for Glory. But as my nickname says, I'm always ready.
Well, J-Bone, he kind of led right into what we were going to ask, wasn't it? I mean, anybody that knows our show knows that PCO has been rocking with us since he was at one time your Ring of Honor world champion. So that's as good a place to ask you as any, man. You were away from TNA for a while. You've now returned, and in your time away, you saw your partner, Steph De Lander, or, partner in crime, kind of hooking up with the monster PCO. So tell me what brought you back to TNA, and what were your thoughts in your time away and seeing what's transpired with Steph and PCO?
I don't approve of it one bit. SDL, my partner, sure. Also my property, the 2 Ps, partner and property. I signed a contract with her, which kind of, not that she has to do everything I say, but she needs to ask permission before she does things like marrying PCO on television, stuff like that. It needs my approval. She did not ask. I wasn't even invited to the wedding. Maybe she did it because she knew I wasn't going to be at the TNA show, but I'm always ready. I'm not just a free agent. I'm the agent. I can show up anywhere at any time on any show. And that's why I showed up, and I crashed the wedding.
I mean, as history would show, dude, weddings on wrestling just ain't a thing. They never go as planned, and they never go well. So I don't know what she expected in the first place, but that's just me.
Well, I did let them get the rings on. I just came to give a gift, but my gift was a brick to PCO's head.
We talked about PCO being a guy who's been on the show a bunch. A brick of against most people's heads would be a problem. Clearly, it knocked out PCO, and it's probably going to bring some retribution your way. But with that being said, man, we saw you crash the honeymoon, and I watched TNA last night at the time we were recording, and Santino left you with an ultimatum. It was either sign a contract and fight PCO, or you were going to have to go to jail. So we said we don't know where you're going to end up with Bound for Glory. How are you going to manage to survive against PCO and get you a victory?
Listen, PCO, his body of work speaks for itself. He has reinvented himself. He is at the top of his game. He's a very violent and dangerous performer, as am I. I am the deathmatch king. So if anybody can stop PCO, it's me.
Do you have any ideas on how you can stop, quote unquote, kill PCO? Because we've seen a lot of things happen to PCO. The guy swallowed poison, lit on fire. What can you do different to stop PCO?
I'll do whatever it takes. That's what makes me so dangerous. I've beat Nick Gage, who was the king of the death match. I am the king. And a PCO Matt Cardona match. Eventually, it probably will happen in TNA, and the fans will enjoy it. PCO is not going to enjoy it, and neither will SDL.
So I got to ask, man, we had our homie Wrestling Classic, who I just saw you sent a pretty dope ass Macho Man to. So shout out to our guy Wrestling Classic. You got that leads to ask the question, with crashing weddings and crashing honeymoons, has Chelsea had anything to say with any of this stuff, bro?
Hey, listen, Chelsea is a big supporter of the SDL Cardona partnership. She knew the deal from the beginning. In fact, I asked Chelsea if she was cool with it before I even asked SDL. Before I basically asked SDL to save her career, I asked my wife if she'd be cool with it. So listen, my wife, when we're at home, we don't talk wrestling. Okay, that's the last thing we're talking about. We're talking about theme parks. We're talking about food. We're talking about our dogs. I don't really care what she's doing on TV, and she doesn't care what I'm doing. As long as we're both bringing in the fat paychecks, that's all that matters.
That's what I'm talking about.
Speaking of fat paychecks, bro, you got to tell me. So now that you are back in TNA, what made now the right time to come back to TNA, and what are the goals? Obviously, getting a world title is the first one you always hear, but do you got any master plans now that you're back in TNA?
Listen, I think I'm an ultimate opportunist. I say this all the time. I'm not just a free agent. I'm the agent, and I don't work for anybody except myself. I don't work for TNA. I don't work for Santino Marella. I work for myself. And that's the beauty about Matt Cardona, is that I can pop up anywhere at any time. A lot of people say that, but not many actually can do that. I could pop up on some random indie. I could pop up on NXT. I could pop up on TNA. I could pop up on AEW. I could pop up on Monday Night Raw. I literally can. I don't have a contract anywhere. This isn't a storyline. This isn't a gimmick. There's so many free agents there, but I am the agent because I'm the one that could really cause the most damage and create the most buzz.
I mean, that's been the story of your career. I mean, you've done what most, you call yourself the Indy God and all those things with it, man. You've done what most people can't do when they leave WWE, and being able to keep yourself as relevant the way you have, and to do it for so long. Bringing up Santino, in other places, I know you've been doing the general manager role. What are your thoughts on his job as a general manager so far, or authority figure?
I think he's doing great in his position. As GCW general manager, I was doing it because I was injured and because I wanted to make the company better. So, I'm still an active competitor, unlike Santino. So if Santino keeps running his mouth, I don't know if he can back himself up anymore. I don't know if that Cobra has any more venom in it. Do Cobras have venom? I don't know, but I don't know if it works. That Cobra might need some Blue Chew.
You might need some Blue Chew. Blue Chew solves all. But speaking of coming back to TNA, man, you guys are in the middle of something unprecedented. We've seen the mashup between WWE and TNA, and seen so many NXT stars coming into TNA stars going to WWE. You being somebody that's been everywhere and gotten to experience everything, what do you think of this merger? What do you think it can bring for TNA, and what are your thoughts on what we've seen of it so far?
Oh man, I think it's so exciting. Because not just as a wrestling fan, who gets to watch TNA, NXT, who's going to show up this week. I think also the wrestlers are interested too. I think everyone's having a great time with it. I think it's great for everybody involved. It feels like the Monday Night Wars again, except like NXT isn't against TNA. They're working together. So I think it's really, really cool. You've seen what it's done for guys like Joe Hendry. And it's exciting to see who the next person could be. Who's going to show up? Who's it going to be? I think that's a great time, not just for wrestlers, but for wrestling fans. And since I'm both, it's awesome for me.
Kyle, I think we've been saying this for a while. This is the best time to be a pro wrestling fan. There is something for everyone. One thing that sticks out is everybody's working. There's so many places to work now. And as long as we can keep the toxicity off of X, as they call it nowadays, we talk about all the time.
I don't think you'll ever be able to do that.
Oh, that's the worst. But it's a great time to be a pro wrestling fan because there is so much entertainment value everywhere, man.
I mean, there's wrestling every night of the week, whether it be on a streaming service or on television or, at a live event. It's unprecedented. It's a great time, like I said, for the fans, for the wrestlers. There's so much work out there. If you're a pro wrestler and you're not working, you're either lazy or you suck.
There it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
Hey, laying out the facts. I'm not mad at it, dude. And that brings up another one of the things that, I have talked about on the show a lot. I mentioned that PCO has been on there, but there's a lot of guys that are in TNA, like Trey Miguel and Zach Wentz, who are also past guests of the show. The coolest thing for me as a fan that I think that I've seen so far with this merger is just the fact that I've said for a long time that I think TNA has the best women's division in wrestling in a lot of ways, and a lot of the stories and things that they've had going on over the last few years, man, have been great. I mean, look at all the names like yourself, and Nick Nemeth, who's the champion, and people that we've seen injected in there. I think the coolest thing for me as a fan is just watching a guy like who you mentioned in Joe Hendry, getting to go over there and having what he's had on NXT and all that stuff. I just think it's cool because now I feel like TNA is getting seen by a lot of people that they wouldn't normally. And that's what makes this most interesting to me. But that brings up a question that we had for Tuesday's guest, Danielle Monet, formerly Summer Rae. She was talking to us that she said she would like another run with another TNA star, JDC. With this merger, do you think we could see Matt Cardona show up in the Rumble, man?
Oh, man. I mean, you never say never, right? And that's the beauty, is that I am not tied down to anybody. I don't have to ask anybody for permission to do anything. It's this ultimate power of being my own boss. And it's been the best time of my career. I don't care how you define success, accolades, money, happiness. This has definitely been the most successful time in my career. It's great to open my calendar, and all the dates on those calendar I approved. You know, I put them there. I want to be there. If I want to, last week, I only worked one show because I want to have a little vacation. I can do whatever I want. And that freedom, it's just, oh my God, it's just so refreshing. Listen, my time in WWE was fantastic. It was my dream. I lived my dream job for over a decade. And listen, there were a lot of highs and a lot of lows, but it set me up for where I am now, being the indie god. And I tweeted something like this the other day, and I think some people misinterpreted it. You know, I said, you know, there are some haters out there who say, oh, you're only so successful on the indies because you were in WWE. Well, my argument to that is, well, where's everyone else who was ever in WWE? You know, not saying there hasn't been other successful people. Look, Nick Nemeth, like you just said, TNA World Champ. There's plenty. But it doesn't mean that because just you came from WWE that you're an instant success. That's just not the truth, because where would all these guys and girls be? There are people who get released from WWE and you never hear from them again. You know? Now, is it because they weren't good enough? Because they weren't smart enough? Because they were, you know, didn't want it enough? I don't know. There's so many different situations, but I know that when I got released, it was going to be the death of Zack Ryder and the birth of Matt Cardona. And that's exactly what happened. And it honestly has gone way better than I could have even imagined.
With that being said, you know, we talked a little bit about Joe Hendry, man, and he's been somebody who's been a lot of eyes and things of that nature. For you being somebody that's seen, you know, wrestling in so many different places, what is it about that guy you think that's got people so hot for Joe Hendry?
I think every couple of years there's somebody who just takes the whole wrestling business by storm. Right now, it's Joe Hendry, and good for him. But how are you going to back it up? Because after a while, they heard the song, pal. You know what I'm saying? You got to keep evolving, keep backing it up. I think Joe is smart enough and talented enough to do that. But it's not going to be easy, because the more successful he gets and the more eyes on him, the more criticism there's going to be, the more backlash is going to be. And how is he going to handle that? We'll find out.
Remains to be seen.
Well, with that being said, man, I brought up the Macho Man that you sent to our guy Classic. I got to ask you, is there anything new, since you do all the stuff with the figure world and the podcast and all those things as well? What's new in the figure world? What have you guys got your eyes on?
Man, I mean, yeah, we have 3 toy lines, which is pretty crazy. We have the major bendies, the big rubber guys, and we're debuting these major stars, these smaller articulated figures later in the year. But right now, by the time, you know, when you're listening to this right now, you go to majorbendies.com and pre-order the first ever Joe Hendry figure. You know, listen, he's the top of the world right now. So we're like, hey, let's do a figure of him. And you can get that on majorbendies.com. Also, we have our big rubber guys, Jeff Hardy, Harley Race, the Brooklyn Brawler. Those are more of the LJN styles from the 80s, the big rubber guys. And like you said, we have that Macho Man that's just on our website, like an evergreen figure. So if someone comes in, say, oh, I want to get in this toy line, just go to majorbendies.com, get that Macho Man. And then, you know, you probably have to go in the secondary market like eBay or Facebook groups to get the rest. But yeah, collectibles, wrestling figures, wrestling, it's exploding right now. And it's a great spot for me because I'm a wrestler who owns a wrestling figure company. So I'm reaping all the benefits.
I mean, I might have to hit you up soon because my sister just had my first and only 2 nephews, and it's like a secret goal of mine to somehow get those kids into wrestling so it can be like the fuck you that keeps on giving to my sister. So I might have to give me one of those and get them for little Tank's birthday coming up. But hey, man, we're running towards the end of the time we got with you. So if you've got any last words for PCO or the fans of TNA, what would they be?
Listen, I mean, TNA has been on fire for a long time, but I think when I first got there, I was like, how are people not talking about TNA? I think there was just a stink on TNA, and they finally got rid of it because everybody was working their ass up. People in the ring, people in the office, people backstage, and they were just consistently putting on an incredible product. And I'm so glad that people are realizing that now. So it's cool that, you know, I'm a part of it right now, and I'm excited to see what the future is. And PCO, he's the thorn on my side right now, but listen, I didn't come back to TNA just to break up a marriage. I came to TNA for Nick Nemeth and that world title. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Kyle, I know we're cutting short on time. We cannot let Matt Cardona get out of here without some locker room etiquette, man. Hit him with the
Oh
locker
my
room
God. Okay,
etiquette
we'll
questions,
run this one
please.
quick. Okay, so I know in the name of it, you would think that it's poking and pricking and prodding, but we go the opposite way about it. We ask people, what if you've got any of like pet peeves when it comes to the locker room, things that piss you off? Josh Briggs from NXT said, make sure you bring your wrist tape, bring your own squirt bottle, keep your baby mama out the locker room. We've had wash your balls, wash your gear. We've had Ninja Max saying, always staying in the ring to train, always be willing to listen. Summer Rae said on Tuesday, don't just put your shit everywhere in the locker room and never leave before the show's over. What would you add to that list if you could?
Man, I don't know if this is necessarily locker room etiquette, but maybe like, hey, guys and girls, this is how you can make money. Like on the indie circuit, at least, like when you get to a building, go to the merch table and set up your stuff and make some extra money. And not just make money, but make a connection with the audience. I think too many people are worried about having this cool match, but if nobody cares about you, this match is meaningless. I'm not saying have a bad match. I'm not saying don't care about your match. Of course, have the best match you want. But if people don't care about it, if they're not booing you or cheering you, if they're not buying your t-shirt, your 8x10 or your photo op, like this is the wrestling business. If you just want to wrestle, set up a trampoline and call your friends in the backyard. I am a businessman. I want to wrestle and I want to make money. Right? There's so many guys and girls in the indies complaining about their spot, complaining about how much they're getting paid on these shows. Listen, we all wish we get paid more on the indies, but you can set your price at the table. You can control how popular you are with social media, with having good matches, or with how you interact with the fans. So my pet peeve is when I show up to a building and I'm the only one or one of the only people setting up a gimmick table, a merch table. I mean, it really doesn't bother me that much because everyone comes to me and I make even more money. But I just don't get it. Like, I'm the one who doesn't need the money. You know what I'm saying? I'm the one of everyone in the back, 9 times out of 10, who needs the money the least. But I'm out there with the fanny pack, you know, kissing babies, signing autographs, and taking that cold hard cash, not just to make money, but to make a connection. Because, in my opinion, the connection with the fans, the connection with the audience is the most important thing about this business.
You heard it here first, man. This has been Matt Cardona. Make sure you're in the building. Detroit, Bound for Glory, coming in October. We'll be there. See you there. Peace.
And I will say this about Bound for Glory. I don't know what my match is. I'm pretty sure I'll be on the card, but I already got some gear in mind, some ring gear. We call it toyetic in the business. It would look great on a toy when I walk through that that curtain, walk down to the ring. If someone turns on that TV, whether they watch wrestling or not, they're going to want an action figure of that figure. So that's my goal. It always is.
Hell yeah. Well, we will see you in Detroit, my man, and enjoy Bound for Glory. Peace.
All right.
All right, J-Bone, man. That was Matt Cardona. Hopefully not the last time we see Matt Cardona come through here. Any of you guys who are checking that out, if you guys had any takeaways or things that surprised you that Matt said in the interview, make sure you comment them, let us know. Keep on coming, share it out with a friend, let them know. And if you're in the Detroit area, man, you got to come out and check out Bound for Glory. I know I, for one, am stoked to be there. Chris, what's up, man? The interview just ended with Matt, but you got to make sure you go back and watch it and post. Make sure you share it with everybody. But J-Bone, I don't know about you, but I feel like we're going to still be bringing some more heat with TNA coming soon, huh?
Oh, you already know, man. We're going to get close to October and hopefully get some more great guests on the show, man. We're going to keep it rolling. Hey, I'm down, though, for the we need some figures, huh? Some knockouts and 3 counts action figures. What about it,
Kyle? I mean, I would be down with that.
You know what I mean?
We got to get Corey the big, long, slinky hair, you know.
Dude, get us with our caps on. Well, you got the good hair. I guess you can get away without wearing a hat.
You got the good hair. In other words, I'm just not bald yet.
Yeah,
but
I got to have one with a hat, man.
Hey, man, you already know, but I'm looking forward to that. I definitely think I'm going to take up what I said in the interview and get one of those major bendies for my nephew for his birthday. So we'll see what happens. But you know how they say in wrestling, card subject to change. So we've got a little bit of subject to change for you. We're going to be doing our all-in preview. Shout out to our guy Mega Ran, already selling shows out over there in England. Going to be there live and on the ground, 10 toes down in London in England at Wembley. So if you guys are going to be watching AEW All In, make sure you check us out this Thursday. And I will be live this Sunday doing the watch along with the homies from the 3NT Wrestling podcast live on Dirt Sheet Radio and all that good stuff as well. So make sure you check that out. Check your boy out. He's J-Bone. I'm Kyle. This is Knockouts in 3 Counts. If you guys are new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like button, share button, comment button, all the buttons. Until next time and in the in-between time, peace.